Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome to another Dokkan Battle video. And before we begin, I must say, this Dokkan OST for this unit is pretty fire. I would say top 10 OSTs ever already. So, are we talking about the unit, or are we talking about how good they are or bad they are? Talk about the banner, what's on the banner. We'll also be talking about teams to put them on, and I have one already built for you guys, assuming you have a few things. So let's look at the leader skill. It's pretty decent with Battle Wits 200% lead. Unfortunately, you already have someone who's Battle Wits, who's the Orange Piccolo, but if you don't have the Orange Piccolo, I guess now you have a Battle Wits 200% lead who can fit a few units on. Let's look at the categories or the stuff we can get in the category. So of course, Orange Piccolo, you could bring him as a friend. You have the 5th anniversary unit, or at least one of them, the tech version. You have the 8-year LR. You have physical Piccolo and Goku, who's going to be very good on this leader skill. You have the Int Goku and Vegeta up there. You have the possible Piccolo tournament Piccolo, who could be getting easy aid. So there are some options in here, guys. You have the Ghost Usher guy, Picohan. So it's decent. I mean, there's some good options in here. Not the most amazing options of all time, but there are some. It's potential. There's some potential in this leader skill here, guys. So he doesn't stack. I'm gonna say he from going forward, because basically this unit categories is just Goku, even though you can clearly see there's other characters in that picture besides Goku, but it's Super Saiyan Goku, so we're just gonna say he. So he can lower defense, greatly lower defense on his super attack, which is actually very valuable in some situations. I'll just say, like, for example, the first few stages of the Perfect Cell Red Zone, and my prediction, by the way. The red zone stages are going to be coming a lot harder, I'm sure. And going down the line, they're probably going to start letting us use status effects on them, like attack and defense reduction. Because just like in other games that I play, eventually they'll start letting you use things that normally you weren't able to do, because the bosses are just so ridiculously hard that the attack and defense lowering is not as big of a deal and kind of needed at this point. So I'm pretty sure they'll swap to that eventually. So if that ever happens, greatly lowers defense is actually kind of bonkers if we go into that route, that theory. His Ultra Super does Mega Colossal and also raises the Super Class Allies attack by 50% for one turn. So you have this guy, if you were able to figure out a way of putting him in slot 1 and you're able to get his 18 key off, now the other 2 people on your team in that rotation have 50% extra attack that they normally didn't have. That's actually kind of huge. Let's see if he can actually be in slot 1 though. Let's check to see what he's got here. So 5 key, already a very good start. That's actually quite high. Usually it's like key, 2 or 3. Key plus 5. Plus attack and defense 150%, which is actually more standard. Super class allies key. Okay, so he's a support too, right? By the way, I've read all of this, I've read all of this many times. I've looked at this unit for many times. Many times. So he's a support. Like I mentioned, he has key plus 2, plus 50% defense, very similar to Gohan, the Garlic Jr. Gohan. Similar, at least. Reduces damage by 30%, so 30%, if it was 50%, he'd be able to be in slot 1 with that defense boost, but 30% is okay. You'll be able to tank normals pretty easily with that, but against supers, of course, he's gonna get, stomped in pretty easily. An additional attack and defense 50% with each attack received, so yeah, you really want, some battles you might actually be able to get with him being in slot 1. With an item. With a Whis, you might be able to put him in slot 1 just fine, and take some normals. And you'll be able to get 75% defense up to the amount of attacks you took. Key plus 2, starting from the turn in which a character receives a 5th attack in battle. So now you're getting key plus 7. if at that point when you get that far. Or cease enemy super attack within the character's attacking turn from the next turn onwards after the character receives 10 attacks, which is quite a lot, but at the same time, if you're having this guy in slot 1, if you're able to do it with an item, maybe without an item, you'll be able to get that scouter who is very valuable. Pretty much in almost every hardest red zone stages you like to have a scouter. Not mandatory, of course. I've beaten almost every red zone stage without a scouter, needed a scouter, but it is very valuable to switch your units around to see who's going to be able to tank that super. Plus, in addition, he gets more, right, guys? Additional 50% attack and launches an additional super attack when activating the active skill or when key is 24. Now, 24 is kind of hard to do all the time, but they get key plus 7 at a certain point in this battle, so that's quite high. And their active skill here massively raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to enemy. And within the turn activated, all attacks become critical hits. All allies key plus 5 for 1 turn. So what they mean is basically all your attacks going forward for that 1 turn is going to be critical hits. Which means, I believe, for your allies as well, which is quite good. And let's see the activation conditions. Can be activated starting from the 5th turn, from the start of the battle, or if the character receives 10 attacks or more. So, I mean, basically, you're doing a double thing here. You're getting in the scouter and you're getting this active skill, which is quite good. In a lot of the slightly less hard red zone stages, you can get this guy active condition easily. Because with the defense that he can get and the 30% damage reduction he has, you can survive most supers. You'll take a big hit, but you'll be able to survive. Now that we've read everything in English, let's look at everything over here. Let's look at who he links best with, because we don't really need to go over his links. We don't really need to get over his, the teams that he's being on, because we'll be talking about that soon. So obviously, this guy is going to go over the moon even more with that guy in that first spot there. The guy that links with basically everybody. That's the reason why. More, I mean, yeah, he's very powerful, but more so, at least in my opinion, someone who's a lot better at Dokkan than I used to be. I see Gohan as a valuable asset more than just because he's really powerful and he puts up big numbers, is because he basically links with everybody in terms of Goku, Gohan, the Goku family team, where you're having Gokus and Vegetas and things like that, in general. He links with pretty much everybody you'd like to link with. Like, it's insane how well they made his links, but back then you never really wanted to run him because he was just too much of a liability. But there were some times where you could bring him because his links were just so good. I would say, honestly, in terms of a tier list, he's probably the #1 unit in the game in terms of just being able to share links with a lot of characters. Like, you go in a lot of these pages, see him probably in the top 1, 2, or 3 spot in terms of links. It's just insane how many links this guy has. So you're gonna have him on the team. When he gets his ESA, you're having this guy on the team with this new Goku, easily. Next is the STR Goku and Gohan, and I really want to use them on this new team. That when Gohan gets his easy, I want to try to make a team with them because I really like them, but they were such a liability for so long because their leader skill is kind of awkward because Android Cell Saga is kind of the crutch part of their leader skill. I don't like it that much, but when you transform into Gohan with this guy, he's a monster. So I want to use him more. Then you've got the Tech Goku and Gohan, who eventually they're going to get a really good team. They have pretty decent teams, but they were never really that amazing. I really want them to succeed because, like, once again, if I were judging based on favorite units, they will be in my top 10, just because their animations and everything about them, they're just really good. They're really consistent damage dealer. So I think that's pretty good. I think we have a lot of characters here that are pretty good, and then there's some that you'll never use. Like there's you can look at them, you can point them out yourself, guys. Like some like these, you're never gonna use them, and these two right here at the bottom, you're never gonna use them. What's interesting though is that this guy right here, he links with them with 5 links. So I don't think that would ever. It wouldn't really work out because passive wise it doesn't really work. But it's funny that he has 5 links with him. So you really wouldn't want to use this guy unless he gets an EZA to celebrate, or on the anniversary celebration. You never really would want to use him. You never really want to use this. Like, there's a lot of characters here that, yeah, they have a lot of links, but you never really want to use them because they're too old or just not good enough. So now let's go move on to what team should you build for them. Okay, you can call me lazy if you'd like. I don't have him, obviously. I don't play the JP version, so I don't have him. So this is the best I can do. But I wanted to show you guys in game. And so this is assuming that you have Gohan EZA, by the way. This is the only reason why you'd have him on the team. You're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. You're gonna have this Goku here. Even though he doesn't link at all really with this guy here, he links well with almost everybody else. And then you have this leader here who he's not 200%, but he's under a better leader skill because you can include all these top tier characters, including him of course, which hopefully you'll be able to exchange for coins soon for him because he's just that good. Even at 55%, he never fails. He's dominant. He's a dominant force in the game. And that probably won't change for a very long time because guard, revive, stacks, what more could you want? And so, I mean, I think this team is pretty solid for this guy because remember, he's a support. He does hit pretty hard with Mega Colossal, and he has some attack buffs. And in regards to certain situations, like I said, remember, he can lower defense. So in certain situations, that could be really good. I think this is the best team in my opinion. And if it's not the best team, it's gonna be a really good team because they're really good. Even at 55%, they're very good. I have them at 89% now, but I had them at 55% for so long and are still very good. So they're good. This unit has so much potential of being extremely good, even at 55%. Of course, they're rainbowed now because I pulled so many of them through when they came back. And this guy is going to be coming back very soon on Global, so you can exchange red coins for him. If you watch my one of my previous videos where I talked about red coin exchanges, this was on one of the lists for that. And then I know it's kind of bad for me to say, oh, you probably have like 1 million of this guy, because I know there's some of you guys out here don't have any of him. But this guy was on so many banners when I was playing in like the 6th through 7th year. I like that the picture is still there. There were so many banners where he was on it, and I kept pulling so many of him. So yeah, he's going to be very good in this team as well. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this team. Even though they're not 200%, I've went through a lot of red zone actually, and almost even the hardest red zone stages without even needing 200%, because I value the unit being very valuable and good and can link well more than an extra 30% stats. And I've beaten Cell Max, I've beaten the other Cell Max with this philosophy where if a unit can link well and can tank well, you can beat anything with 170% still. The 200% is good, but it doesn't always work out for a team that you like to build. So keep that in mind when you're trying to build teams. If you're a new player, don't be focused only on 200% leads, because sometimes you'll build a team that's not going to be nearly as good. Yeah, okay, you'll have them all at 200% lead, but they won't all link well or just going to be kind of awkward. They don't really work well together. So that's kind of the problem with the game right now. There's such a small pool of units that can work on our 200% leads at all times that it's just a little too hard. So you can still run 170% just fine. Alright, so now that we know all about the unit, we know how to build them on a regular team. That's just an example. It doesn't have to be the best. It's just an example team. Let's look at what the banner is going to offer here. So double rates, just like on JP that you see here, and also a Kai, Elder Kai per summon. On the grounds of that alone, without even looking at anything else, is that worth it? No. Double rates, I already tried double rates before. It feels like it's a lie a lot of the time because it doesn't seem to really matter. And an Elder Kai per summon, if it was like 5 Elder Kais, maybe we would be talking a little bit, but it's only 1. You can get Elder Kais just by playing the game and just passively obtaining them through missions and things, so it's not that big of a deal. So, of course, you have the banner unit here. And then you have you have this Piccolo, who's the good one. So other than the Piccolo, the Piccolo there, which you could get, I believe you can exchange for red coins. Not red coins, sorry, teal coins, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. You have the Trunks and Gohan, and like a lot of these SSRs are just not very good. I'm trying to be positive about it, but it's just like your options here are very bad. This banner is not good. Just putting it bluntly, this banner is not good. These options here are terrible. So, other than the Piccolo, other than the banner unit, you're not going to win a whole lot of anything if you pull in this banner. Trunks and Gohan are actually one of my favorite units, but it's not a W if you pull them, of course, because they're really not very useful right now. And so, should you pull based on just, well, looking at the unit, should you pull based on just the banner alone, double rates, and a Kai? No. I think I already answered that, but no. So, I'm not, the banner itself is not going to lower the score because it's not, we're judging based on the unit's kit. And I think I'm going to go 8.5 for the Goku. He's good. He's quite good. But is he mandatory in you know, Super Saiyan or, you know, Saiyan teams? Not really. If you have the other Carnival Goku, I would just use him instead. And honestly, even if I had this Goku, I probably would still be using the tech version anyways, because it just, he offers so much. It's insane. This Goku offers something different, but it's just like, I don't really need it. Maybe you need it. Maybe you need it in case you would pull. But I think Anniversary, you know, Part 1 and Part 2 this year are good. Both banners, unlike last year, where it's like, oh, Part 2 is, you know, Goku and Vegeta, and those are bad, relatively bad. So, in comparison to Part 1, so it's like, this year, 8th year anniversary, both banners are good. Both Part 1 and Part 2 banners are very good. So, I don't know, guys. I would just not pull on this at all. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you. 8.5 for this Goku, but don't pull. Maybe you'll get him down the line at some point, maybe. So, see you in the video. Peace.